Former President Donald Trump at it again, telling people they need to lay down their lives because of critical race theory. Here it is.
Getting critical race theory out of our schools is not just a matter of values, it's also a matter of national survival. We have no choice. The fate of any nation ultimately depends upon the willingness of its citizens to lay down, and they must do this, lay down their very lives to defend their country. If we allow the Marxists and communists and socialists to teach our children to hate America, there will be no one left to defend our flag or to protect our great country or its freedom.
Yeah, a lot of dog whistle in that speech. Once again, Trump wants to incite people to do violence for him because, as my grandmother would say, he won't bust the soft side of a grape. So now he's telling people to go after a fantasy. Critical race theory is not taught in K through 12 education. I will prove it on this segment. Before I go there, remember he said it is for our national survival. Do you think he's talking about all Americans or just a particular, I don't know, demographic? You remember he said that he is in fact a nationalist during a speech while he was president of the United States. This man is violent. He's a criminal, a thug. Let me remind you of some of his greatest hits.
The president praised a Montana congressman for assaulting a reporter last year.
Any guy that can do a body slam, he's my kind. But I had heard that he body slammed a reporter. You just see him thrown in, rough. I said, please don't be too nice. Like when you guys put somebody in the car and you're protecting their head, you know, the way you put their hand over. Like, don't hit their head and they've just killed somebody, don't hit their head. I said, you can take the hand away, okay?
President Trump escalating his war on the media. Tweeting a mock video showing him outside a wrestling ring, tackling and punching a man with the CNN logo covering his face.
The demonstrator walking out gets sucker punched. Multiple cameras at the North Carolina rally capturing the assault as it happens.
During the campaign at some Trump rallies, there were outbreaks of violence against protesters. At times, then candidate Trump appeared to encourage it.
If you see somebody getting ready to throw a tomato, knock the crap out of them, would you? We're not allowed to punch back anymore. Like to punch him in the face, I'll tell you.
The Secret Service investigating this incident where one of their agents slammed to the ground a photographer from Time magazine who clashed with the agent.
The president in no way, form or fashion has ever promoted or encouraged violence. If anything, quite the contrary.
Lies, Huckabee, all lies, and you know it. Now, remember also, Donald Trump is the one who told the rioters who committed an act of domestic terrorism against the United States Capitol to do so. He even said, I will be there with you, which was another lie. He has now toyed with the idea of giving them a pardon if he's elected president again. Back to the original commentary that we're talking about. Donald Trump telling American citizens to literally lay down their lives to stop people from teaching something that is not taught in K through 12 education. Former President Donald Trump called on his supporters to lay down their lives to fight against critical race theory during his rally. This happened Saturday night. The former president rallied his base by criticizing Republican lawmakers who have opposed him and doubled down on his hardline conservative positions, including CRT, which is the study of institutional racism in the legal system. The subject has emerged as a hot button issue for conservatives who argue it is divisive and should not be taught in schools. Once again, it is not taught in K through 12 education. During the rally, Trump invoked CRT as being a matter of national survival, calling on his supporters to fight to keep it out of our schools. He also attacked GOP South Carolina lawmakers who previously have been critical of him, including Representatives Tom Rice, who voted to impeach him, and Nancy Mace. Now, let me remind you, this is all about personality. This has nothing to do with people. This has nothing to do with policy. Donald Trump attacks people not based on principle, not based on policy, but based on personality. If they do not like his personality, he will not like them. He will turn the party, the Republican Party, against that person. He does not care about the Republican system or values. And here's the reality. For Republicans who say they do, they really don't. Because if you actually cared about the values of your party, you would not have allowed a charlatan like Trump to hijack it. If you actually cared about the proclamation of your platform, Donald Trump would have never been able to shrink it to meet him. It's all lip service. There's more. Critical race theory, for the record, does not attribute racism to white people. Some people are surprised to know that. It does not attribute racism to white people as individuals or even as a group. Simply put, critical race theory states that United States social institutions, criminal justice systems, education, labor markets, housing, and healthcare are laced with racism embedded in laws, regulations, rules, culture, and procedures that lead to differential outcomes by race. Sociologists and other scholars have long noted that racism can exist without actual racist people, a point I've made right here on Indisputable. Now remember, Trump is telling his followers they must lay down their lives to stop critical race theory in K-12 education. Have you ever pondered on this? If it's such a problem, why don't we hear K-12 educators telling us it's a problem? Teachers nationwide said K-12 schools are not requiring or pushing them to teach critical race theory. And most said they were opposed to adding the academic approach to their course instruction, according to a survey obtained by NBC News. Critical race theory is a high academic, advanced theoretical construct of study. It is not and has not been utilized in K-12 education. Despite a rolling culture war that was blown up at school board meetings and led to new legislation in state houses across the country, the responses from more than 1,100 teachers across the country to a survey conducted by the Association of American Educators, a nonpartisan professional group for educators, appeared to suggest that the panicked dialogue on critical race theory made by lawmakers and the media does not reflect the reality of American classrooms. Here's another note for those who are keeping up with this. You know, all of these bills that call themselves anti-critical race theory bills or bans on critical race theory, guess what is absent in the language of the legislation? The terminology critical race theory. They are using it once again as a pretext to create the context to stop teachers from teaching real history in the United States of America. What they don't want to happen is for teachers to be empowered to teach the truth about American institution and American history. Ms. Dahl, what are your thoughts here?
You know, I would say to his supporters, why don't you wait to see if he's gonna lay down his life before you do that? Because you know he's not that kind of leader. And you know, we have actually a real problem with violent threats against our school board members. So him saying that in that context is very dangerous. We've seen him inciting violence and then it happening with the Capitol riot and other situations. The Department of Justice has actually opened up an investigation because of the number of threats against them. And I know I've said this before, but I'll say it again. School boards are mostly women. It is more women make up school boards than any other political organization in our country. So he's threatening violence, you know, against mostly women. I feel really bad. You know, these people are not usually paid or at all. I mean, they're true public servants and they are getting really harassed on a daily basis. Never mind our teachers as well. So, you know, I'm glad that you're bringing this out because this is a really legitimate problem, you know, this kind of threat of violence against them.
Yeah, you make a really great point about the people who serve as members of school boards. They are typically not career politicians. They do not make a lot of money. Some places don't pay them anything but a stipend for traveling to the school board meeting. And you're right, you have a lot of women who are elected to that position, a lot of individuals who are parents decided to run to become public servants, and you have some who are school teachers who decided to run and seek office as a school board member. We're gonna continue to track this. Obviously, this is going to start a new wave of violence. It is unfortunate, but it is real. We have seen this happen time and time again.